I'm gonna try my best to make this as spoiler free as I possibly can, because seriously, this entire movie just got me thinking by the ending shot. So, now, before I get into this review, I just gotta give a little bit of history at this point. So in 1920, this is when Germany got into the Treaty of Versailles. If you don't know what the Treaty of Versailles is, it's basically a treaty where the Allies made Germany pay a massive amount of money and a couple other things, but the money was really the big thing, in which Germany had to pay for, even though Austria-Hungary started World War One. But either way, Germany had to pay for all of it. And with America making a whole lot of money in its movie industry, why not Germany? So they basically started in the movie industry, and I find that very interesting. And the fact that they were the ones that started the horror movie genre, I find that absolutely fascinating. And quite honestly, and this has nothing to do with the movie, guys, but had the Treaty of Versailles never happened, then Adolf Hitler would never gotten into power. Seriously, I should recommend checking out that history. But I'm getting off track right now, and I know that it has nothing to do with the movie, but I just wanted to bring that up there because a lot of subscribers of mine just keep telling me, hey, your reviews are not talking about the actual history. And whenever I review movies or TV shows, your reviews are not talking about the actual history. In other words, you're getting it wrong and all that type of stuff. Guys, I know the actual history. I'm just reviewing the movies for what they are, not exactly what they are presenting. I know that they are not presenting it exactly as it was. No, they're coming up with their own things, but I'm just reviewing the movies. You can always look up the actual history itself. Sorry, I gotta use the actual book to read the title. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. So, now it's time for the review. So, the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari is one of the most creative silent films that I have ever seen. Seriously, the set design alone caught me off guard. Because with the set designs, I was looking around going, did Tim Burton direct this movie? Seriously, because when you look at the walls or street designs or even house designs, it just looks unworldly, because you see walls that are kind of slanted, and you see windows that are like triangle shaped instead of squared. It looks like something out of The Nightmare Before Christmas. So I gotta say, was Tim Burton really inspired by this movie? Because there are two designers that I could really think about this movie: Tim Burton or Dr. Seuss. Because everything about this movie looks absolutely unworldly. So it begins with two people sitting on a bench. One guy is a little freaking out because he believes that spirits are haunting him and all such. And then there is a guy right next to him explaining to him, oh, I got a story for you that will really haunt you. And so he starts explaining a story, and it goes to a flashback where it talks about a guy named Dr. Caligari, who is with his assistant named Francis, who looks like a zombie, by the way. Basically trying to raise him from the dead or whatnot. With silent films, it's very hard to really decipher what is going on. Sometimes. I'm just gonna point that out. But anyway, Francis said that he is not gonna make it through the night, and later on that day, when he is sleeping in his bed, you would notice that his killer comes in, and you could see by a shadow, as you could see behind me, by a shadow, the killer raises a knife and just stabs him right in the chest. And it's got to be one of the most inspiring moments that I have seen in a lot of horror movies. I mean, seriously, even the shower scene from Psycho does not have that type of realism. Yeah, I mean, the shower scene alone from Psycho was terrifying, but this for me is a whole lot more, because we're looking at the shadow, and it's a silent picture, so we're not hearing anything. It just causes that level of fear in my body. Seriously, horror films in the silent film genre is got to be like 3 times more scarier than horror films made today. If you're a horror fan, then I would recommend checking out silent films in the horror genre, because they're like 10 times scarier. And this movie is definitely is no exception. Seriously. But anyway, I just got to point this out before I go any further. It's got to has got to be that one shot when Francis is going to kill this woman. I mean, this scene alone looks unreal. I mean, he is at the window. He is watching a woman sleep in her bed. After he removes the window, puts it down, and when he's walking towards her, he just looks unworldly. Looks something that doesn't even look alive. And I gotta give credit to the actor that portrayed that, because he could have been a normal person, just walk up and just, you know, either kill the woman or hesitate or something. But no, he just walks up like he was a dead zombie or whatever. And when he gets there, he hesitates, but when she wakes up, she freaks out. And then that's when he kills her. And it's got to be one of the most haunting scenes in the movie. Seriously. And when all this flashback ends and all such, another thing happens. I don't want to give away any spoilers, because I would recommend you to actually watch this film, because you would definitely get the same feeling as I did after watching the ending of this movie. But the ending of this movie is what makes it work. Seriously. At the end of this movie, you're thinking to yourself, okay, was everything I heard that was true, or was I just hearing it from a madman? But the final shot of this movie, the way they filmed it and everything, they have a shot on the doctor's face, and then it shrinks down to this point, and he looks up at the camera, and you're thinking to yourself, is that the doctor? Is this the guy? And then it just ends, like right there. I love movies where they have the horror, which is the entire movie in general, and then there is the mystery in which you gotta think about afterwards, after watching the movie. It's one of the first movies that started that, and I absolutely love it. This movie got me thinking about several times. I was thinking to myself, okay, was the story I heard was fake, or was it an actual real story? I love movies like that makes me think afterwards. So guys, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, have you seen it? What did you think of it? Oh crap, I forgot to give it its rating. Yeah, this movie has the horror, it has the mystery, and if you're a big fan of all that type of stuff, if you're a big fan of Tim Burton, who is probably inspired by this movie, I would definitely recommend checking this out, because this movie is definitely legendary. So guys, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, have you seen it? What did you think of it? Whatever you thought, comment it down below. Also, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share my videos as much as possible, so I can finally get monetized to the point where I can challenge other reviewers to do the same exact challenge. Also, if you're not a big fan of horror movies, then I would definitely recommend checking out another reviewer that is on YouTuber named Cinema Massacre. Cinema Massacre has already done a full review of this movie. He has given a bunch of spoilers that I'm too afraid to talk about. If you're not a fan of horror and everything, I would definitely recommend checking him out. And if you do, please tell him that Jake Allen Movie Reviews has sent you. And I'll see you in the next video.